Hello, my name is Kevin Bock and I'm professor of tuba and euphonium here at GCU. I'd like to talk about a couple of big picture topics as far as the regional and all-state etudes go first, and then I'll talk about some individual things related to each particular etude. So the big picture topics, the first thing I want to talk about is about deliberate slow practice with the metronome. You want to make sure that no matter when you start to learn the piece, that you go to a tempo that you're comfortable being able to execute all of the things on the page. The details are very, very important, even at slow practice. It's very hard to add in dynamics, articulations, and then especially breathing as you start to add tempo later on. If you get all of the details very finely honed at a slow tempo with the metronome on, you will then be able to get a much clearer picture as you finally start to speed things up to the actual performance tempo. When I practice, I have the metronome on 99% of the time. The only time I'm taking it off is to be able to do a performance run-through. The only time I'm taking it off is to be able to do a performance run-through. Any other time, the metronome is always on. Nobody has ever told me my time and my rhythm are too good. Also, breathing will change as you go from slow to fast. So, as you start with a slower tempo while you're practicing and learning the piece, write in your breath marks. Write them in frequently so that you're able to actually perform all of the details that are on the page, especially the dynamics. As you add speed, you'll be able to go longer and longer stretches without having to take a breath. But breathing is super, super important, and I want to make sure that you know that that's allowed to change, and that's okay. Speaking of breathing, my next big picture topic is exactly that. Your breathing must be rhythmic and have a precise amount of time that you're planning to take a breath for. So, if you're going to take a breath after an 8th note, for example, you're probably going to want to play it like a 16th note just to give enough space. But the time cannot change. The tempo matters way more than how long you're breathing for. So, when we do breathe, you cannot interrupt the tempo at all. You have to make sure that you're staying within the time throughout. Lastly, as a reminder, to look up all of the definitions of all of the words that you don't understand that are on the page. So, when you're playing some of these etudes, you must know what affrontare means. You must know what leggiero and cantabile mean. These are very, very important as they give you instructions about how to play the music. Also, make sure that with all of your variations of dynamics and articulations that they are very clear of what you are trying to do. It's not very important to understand the difference necessarily between this type of accent and this type of accent, but that they are distinct from each other so that we can see every single thing that's on the page and hear everything that's on the page. Now for some specific tips on each etude. For etude number 1, though the accents are important, make sure that the quick notes around them are still at the proper dynamic. Be mindful of note lengths. While staccato is separated, anything else needs to be the full regular value of the music. For etude number 2, I want to focus especially on the last 3 bars. They do not slow down, and the rhythmic integrity is very, very important. The eighth note triplets are very closely related to the quarter note triplets that are in the second to last bar. And if you actually feel the tempo, it stays the same. So if I have my metronome on, dee da da dee da 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 da, those are very much the same rhythm, just protracted in a different way. So please make sure that you're holding those notes out the proper length and that you're not going too long or too short. For etude number 3, make sure that all of the notes that are not marked with the staccato are played for their full duration. Some of these notes can get clipped at the end of the slurs, but make sure that you're actually playing the full length of the note so that we have tone for the entire time. Also, there are a few spots to make sure that you carry through accidentals for the entire measure, or else the music will start to sound a little strange. Breathing is very tricky in the second half of this etude. Make a plan, stick to it as best you can, and only as an absolute last resort should you breathe during a slur. But if you don't have to, don't. For etude number 4, make sure that you don't play so loud that it affects your flexibility. This etude does move around quite a bit, and we need some nimbleness to make sure that we're able to get all over the instrument. Also, make sure that you're getting all 3 distinct characters throughout this etude. The very first section has its own character, the second section has a very cool groove, and then the third section returns again. The third line has very precise articulation. Make sure that all of the notes that are unmarked, again, have full value, and that the tenutos, while having a different style of emphasis, than a normal accent would, are more like a consonant change. So thinking about ba or da on those notes as opposed to a regular accent like this. They are not any longer than a note that has no markings on it whatsoever. For etude number 5, work for your best smoothness by working on consistent air and especially blowing through the arpeggiations in the 2-2 section. If you blow straight good air, you'll have a wonderful musical phrase that will actually have a great shape to it. Now, for the very ending of it, it's very important to plan out your air and the pacing of the last few notes. Be sure the very last note has a fermata on it, it is 3 beats long, and there's a retardando that happens 2 bars before it. So that last note is very, very long. Make sure you provide enough air and you've paced yourself so that you can get to the end of that note without having to have a deteriorating tone. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it has been useful for you. Taking auditions is no easy task. You should be proud of your work. Good luck.